So symposiums like this are really critical in getting a diverse range of views, not just from government people, but from the academic sector, because research really plays a pivotal role in the way that we're able to design programs, to look at various interventions, and to ensure that what we're doing is taking into account the contemporary environment. I found the keynote address to be fascinating. It's just brilliant to be able to get a different perspective, one that I hadn't really looked at in terms of the way that somebody was approaching the problem that we all face, but from a different perspective. That whole issue around moral, in some respects, I would say moral dissonance that some people can have versus also a moral diffusion of views is something that I need to take into account, particularly when it comes to the importance of place in being able to assess whether or not somebody was susceptible, vulnerable to radicalisation or extremism solely based around the attributions of place. It's really important that practitioners take into account a diverse range of views. The last thing that we want to see is a cookie cutter or common thread approach to dealing with issues around radicalisation and extremism. People need to come at it from different perspectives, different points of view, because there's no one single issue that relates to radicalisation or extremism. We need a diverse range of views. We need a really well-equipped, diverse toolkit to be able to deploy against a growing and really serious threat to societal cohesion and the impact on society that radicalisation and extremism can have. So the questions and the challenges and the concerns that researchers need to be looking at are some of the issues that we haven't even thought of yet, to be honest. There is such a change in the nature of the environment that's exacerbated by social media, online, the impact of COVID and the long-ranging impacts that that's had, and also the conflict in the Middle East and what that means. We've also now got a bunch of people who've experienced some of the most horrendous conditions on Earth, be it in the Ukraine, be it in the Middle East. That's going to have implications for generations to come. And families that have been deeply impacted by those particular events are going to have to grapple with how it's managed, and governments and academics are going to need to posit questions to be able to understand the evolving nature of the environment in the years ahead. I don't think you enjoy too much, to be honest, but you learn a lot from coming to events like this. It's really important to listen to the views of the researchers that are here, for them to be able to interact with people in government who are making and developing policies and programs to deal with some of these difficult circumstances. We need to better understand the views of law enforcement, intelligence and national security agencies, and also to undertake a broader perspective in the way that we're able to encompass some of our thinking into determining how we approach the problem. And that's a global issue now. It's not just confined to what's happening in Australia, albeit place is important, but the internet and the pervasive and ubiquitous nature of social media platforms and common views across the world is now critical in the way that we develop programs and policy responses. So when people are coming to conferences like this, it's important that they mingle, network, and are able to incorporate a lot of different views into how they approach the problem. Academia plays a central role in being able to better understand the problems that we're facing, and also being able to design some of the design and implement some of the programs that we need to tackle the issues around violent extremism and radicalisation. You can't just have academics not being integrated and working collaboratively with departments like mine, Home Affairs. That's why we sponsor and fund academia to do research, because I can't have all the questions in Canberra sitting in a bunch of, government departments with a particular view. If we don't have a diverse range of views that is based on evidence, And that's the central role here of academia. We want evidence-based policy to be able to be put forward to government and to our policy leaders, who are, at the end of the day, politicians who are elected by the people. If they don't have a central role that is really focused on academic research, then we've got a problem.